Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Corey C., and I'm here with a very special guest today, the co-founder of KSD Kusama Starter. How are you today? How's everything?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Corey. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for asking. I'm very happy to have you on.
My pleasure.
Yeah, to speak about KSM Starter. I'm really excited about this, especially that it's involved in incubation of projects. So I'm very excited to learn about this. So, in your opinion, in your words, what
hmm
exactly is Kusama Starter, and why did you decide to build a launchpad on Kusama specifically?
all right. So I think I'm gonna answer the second part of the question first.
Sure.
So me and my co-founder Aliaj, we have been involved in helping projects essentially go from incubation to launch across quite a few projects. I think together we have helped around 20 to 30 different projects launch. Um,
Awesome.
During the process, I mean, we have of course been involved with talking to different various launch pads on the base on from the perspective of the project that we're helping to launch.
Mhm.
And then throughout the process, we realized that there are many flaws and many shortcomings that these launch pads are not addressing. So naturally, we came to the conclusion that hey, you know what, maybe if we build a launchpad, we know the pain points of the project, so we can truly build a launchpad that addresses the pain points that these founders are really finding when they're launching their own project in crypto. So that's the reason that we decided to build a launchpad.
That's great.
And then when it came to choosing okay which chain to build on, I mean we knew that we can build on any chain, and either way it would be successful because we had different features in mind.
Mhm.
But the reason that we chose Kusama is mainly because, well, I mean, we chose Kusama, but at that time the substrate sort of infrastructure wasn't very ready, so we actually built it on Moon River.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so there's kind of like a segue into it. The reason we did that is because when we're in the shoes of the projects, what kind of network are they really looking to when it comes to building, right? So they're looking for something to test out their products. They're looking for something that's fast, something that is scalable. So of course, this is when Kusama is an experimental network for Polkadot, and so it does have the grounds for experiment. It does have that scalability there. So this is why we chose it. So yeah, that's how we became KSM Starter, and I guess that's how everything really started.
that's very interesting because I actually a couple of videos back, I think maybe not even 2.5 weeks ago, I did a interview with a main ambassador of Moonbeam Moon River. So
hmm
I have been introduced to that that project as well, and it's really amazing how all of these different parachains in Polkadot successfully are basically amalgamated. It's an interoperable ecosystem that really is incredible in a lot of different ways.
hmm
So let me ask you this then, and I know this is a very important question for a lot of upcoming projects in cryptocurrency for legitimate reason.
Sure.
Um, can you tell us about the credentials of the team?
Sure. I mean, number one, it's I think credentials is quite a funny word in crypto because you can literally be anonymous and have all the credentials, right?
Agreed.
Um, but I guess from our perspective, I mean, we are a fully non-anonymous team. We all have been working in crypto for quite a few years. Me myself, I got into crypto in 2013. I
Oh
started
wow.
working full time in crypto in 2017, and then same goes for my co-founder. And yeah, I mean, our entire team has been working in crypto across various projects. Some as core team members, some as freelancers, some as consultants. So that is the background. So I mean, we know how crypto works and we know what investors are looking for. And I think that was part of the success that we really had when we were launching and when we were starting getting people really excited. So now is the time that we, sort of answer to the excitement by listening to the community and what they need because, we promised a good launch and we had a good launch. So now it's about, okay, now what? We don't really want our expertise and experiences to be the building blocks of what happens next. It should be about what the community is looking for. So that's what we're doing right now.
I like that. I like how you're focused on community. And 2013, wow, you were a senior when I was a freshman in 2017. I got into crypto in 2017, so kudos to you for being involved in much longer. But I like when not even just incubators, but cryptocurrency projects in general focus on the importance of community, because I say this in a lot of my podcasts that if you don't have if you have a project with no community, it's like having a company without any consumer base. Like, you're bound to fail no matter how good your product really is.
Yeah.
So it's great that you are focusing on that. So in regards to community and your holders, how can KST holders benefit from the Kusama starter platform?
Well, I mean, first of all, they can stake it to participate in IDOs just like any other launchpad. And then the second thing that we're actually currently working on, I mean, it is pretty much fully built. We just need to deploy it. Is that by staking, they also earn APY.
Cool.
So we are looking to become a launchpad where people can stake, a little amount, and over the course of the period, they go from the lowest tier to the highest tier because they're receiving these drips, from the staking rewards. So that is what we're doing. Another thing they can do is they can participate in the KST DAO, which is also in progress right now. And it's, so when you're thinking of launchpads and IDOs, it's mainly public sale. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a venture capital arm through a DAO mechanism for our token holders to participate in not just public sales, but private sales and seed sales. So this is why KST token holders will be able to participate because that is their governance token in the DAO structure to essentially be able to sort of get into even earlier deals than most other IDOs.
Absolutely. And that's to my knowledge, like, I've heard of KCC Pad, I've heard of Tron Pad, BSC Pad, ETH Pad, so many different pads. And I haven't, and maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't heard the idea of being able to stake those coins, earn an APY, and enter different tiers. To my knowledge base, the majority of cryptocurrency launchpad projects and their tokens thereof, you're stuck in one tier unless you buy more tokens. So that's really amazing that you're allowing your holders to be able to have a vertical sense of mobility in this ecosystem. So I like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's, in a way, we're quantifying time, right? So, the more time they spend at KSM Starter, of course, the more rewards they should have. Because at the end of the day, I think, especially in the crypto market, the rarest commodity is time.
Yes, it is.
And if our community is spending their precious time with us, then it's only our duty to really respond to that in some sort of reward.
Absolutely. So what is the KST Ecosystem Council, and how will it benefit Kusama and the Kusama starter ecosystem?
Sure. So the KSD Ecosystem Council are essentially a group of individuals from various projects. I guess some are from dev houses, some are from VCs. It's a very various background. And then the Ecosystem Council essentially are the due diligence council and the reporting council of the IDOs that are coming to KSM Starter. So they not only review the IDOs that are incoming, but then they also keep track of what they're up to after the IDO. Because, for example, let's say a project looks spectacular before the IDO, and then we hosted their IDO, and after the IDO, they started slacking off, and then of course this is something that can be flagged by the Ecosystem Council, and then we can reach out to those projects and then try to help out in best way that we can. So it's not really a governance council. It's more of a, I guess, like a due diligence / investigational council that we have.
Awesome. That's very interesting. I like that. So can you tell me about the utility of the KST token?
Sure. So, I mean, the utility is essentially, like I said, participating in the IDOs, participating in the DAO, and then eventually staking and earning APY. But I want people to sort of see it the way that I see it, because we are at the end of the day, we are a launchpad. So I want people to think of having KST token as having a key to a door that you may enter or not, because we're not forcing people to participate in IDOs. We do get requested by different IDO projects to sort of help them hype things up. We don't really do that. We actually provide a spotlight to make sure that people understand what they're getting into. So after having the chance to learn about it, then they have the KST token, which is kind of a key to enter that door or not. So that's the whole utility of it. Is that it gives people opportunity, and that opportunity to use the opportunity or not is essentially up to the users. So yeah, that's the utility.
Very interesting concept you brought up. It gives people opportunity to utilize that opportunity. I like that. I like that. That was really good. That's very interesting. And as we know, cryptocurrency launchpads, some of them expand, some of them contract, some of them work, some of them don't. Let me ask you about the expansion, because it seems like a very ambitious launchpad project, especially being on Kusama, which is one of the arguably the most well-known projects or ecosystems per se in Polkadot. So can you tell us about the expansion you've been hinting about, or what does it entail?
Sure. So it's, in a way, it's an ambition, but at the same time, it's a solution. The solution to the problem mainly is that there aren't many projects that are building on Kusama as expected. The reason for that is because, number one, people aren't just used to it. Like the retail based, who has MetaMask compared to who has Polkadot wallet,
Right, of course.
People are used to EVMs more. And so in a way, the crowd sort of dictates that, and then the projects follow. So we haven't really seen an active number of projects that are building on Kusama, which is a problem for us.
Of course.
Right. So the solution for that is, well, okay, we can carry the same value, but expand to other different ecosystem, and then try to be not just the primary launchpad on Kusama, but also the most diverse launchpad in the industry. So we have been working towards an expansion where we will be able to host IDOs on not only on ETH and Kusama, but at Moonriver, BSC, Polygon, Avalanche, Hecko, OKX ecosystem chain, and quite a few more. Yeah. So that we really want to evolve into this one-stop shop experience for the users.
That's huge. I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah, because right now, let's say that you want to participate in IDOs on BSC, you probably would go to places like BSC Pad.
Yep.
Let's say you want to participate in IDOs happening on ETH or Polygon, then you would probably go to somewhere else.
Yep.
Those are all lost opportunities and lost time, because your opportunities and your time are finite. Your time being the time itself, the opportunity being having the governance token. You might need to have the governance token of Polka Starter and BSC Pad and this and that. It becomes quite burdensome.
Yes.
So this is why we're bringing everything into a single central place of KSM Star. We're actually gonna, when we do the expansion, we're gonna do a rebrand, so our name will actually change.
Okay.
So with that new name, we can now support pretty much all the chains out there, and this is something that's, I believe, quite beneficial for the community. And along with that comes certain upgrades. It's not just an expansion if expansion is not efficient if it's just sort of horizontal movement. It also has to have the vertical movement up. So a lot of our community has been complaining about the ETH gas fee when they need to stake.
Yeah.
So we're moving the staking chain off from ETH into BSC.
Awesome.
So that we are resolving the fee issue. A lot of people have been also talking about when they need to register for the IDO that they need to pay the gas fee because it's a transaction.
Yeah.
We are also removing that, and it's just simple wallet signing. So there is actually pretty much no gas fee involved there. So these are some of the things that we are also solving at the same time through this expansion.
Those two things that you just brought up are amazing. The first thing I'm going to say briefly is the Ethereum gas fee. No one wants to take out a mortgage to pay a transaction fee.
Yeah.
No one wants to. That's why Ethereum has become, unfortunately, very inefficient over the last I'd say year, because it's become so expensive that it becomes non-practical. Where Ethereum was basically competing with Wells Fargo to a certain indirect sense, where you could send money with Ethereum to someone else on the other side of the world, but now it's more practical to use a traditional entity. So I'm glad that you're moving over to BSC where the fees are kind of next to nothing. That's the first thing. The second thing is you guys are very forward thinking in that interoperable notion. People don't want I've been involved in Launchpads. I've been involved. A friend of mine has KCC Pad, Tron Pad. He got into NFT launch. I don't even know the other ones he was in, and it's just a nuisance to have to hold this, that, and have to stake this and stake that over there. It's very complex, and for lack of a better word, it's very annoying.
Yeah, definitely.
If you guys are able to do that and you're able to expand and utilize interoperability in a launchpad, that is a force to be reckoned with. That's a very big deal in my personal opinion. I'm not just saying that, but that's a very, very big deal. So I genuinely hope that works out. So apart from that excitement, what are some exciting upcoming IDOs that are launching?
Oh, we have a lot of IDOs that are lined up. So we just recently announced the idea of Matic Launchpad. So we'll be launching quite a few launchpads ourselves. So it's quite an interesting method because we hosted our own IDO when we were launching. But it seems like now a lot of new incoming launchpads are using other launchpads to launch. So we'll be launching a few launchpads. There are certain GameFi. There are quite a few big DAO projects. And then there are some more DeFi sort of more DeFi aggregator. These kind of things launching. So I mean, I cannot share the detailed names and stuff, but there's a whole array of different projects that we're looking to launch. So it's going to be very, very busy for us. But I think for our users, I never recommend our users to participate in every single IDO. I mean, that's just not feasible. But I think what's important for our user is that they'll be able to choose what kind of, from metaverse to GameFi to DeFi to, something that's more B2C, B2B. There is going to be a lot of options for our users to be able to choose, and giving them that, solid ability to be able to choose what they want and take on the opportunity. I think that's sort of our duty as a launchpad. So yeah, those are what's coming up, and it's very exciting. I mean, very, very busy for us, but it's business is booming, I guess. So it's good.
That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. So let me ask you about this. A community member asked me this. What happened to if I'm pronouncing this properly, the CITUS partnership or the CITUS partnership?
Yeah, I mean, CITUS Heroes is one of our partners. It's so when we do a partnership, not all partnerships come with that we're going to do an IDO for them.
Okay.
Mainly because number one, the project has to request it, and number two, we're not going to strong arm a project and say, hey, you know what, you need to do an IDO in order for us to be able to help you out. Because I think there is way too many click being created and way too many walls being built within the ecosystem. So we are open to all partnerships if we can help out. So in the case of Sida's partnership, we were marketing partners, so we actually helped them do marketing. We ran a Glean campaign with them, and then I think one of the Glean campaign prizes was the Sida's Heroes NFT or something. So that was also given out, and yeah, that's what happened. I mean, it was a marketing partnership that went well.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it, actually.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that transparency. Thank you. Another community question that somebody asked me was, when will the website be updated? I'm presuming alongside the rebranding.
Yeah, alongside with the rebrand, actually, the funny thing is, our new website is already live. So if people knew the URL, they'll be able to go there and see it. But the URL is obviously our new name, and we haven't announced it. So the new website is live. It's much faster. It's a bit more interactive. There's a bit of an addictive nature to it. I think people, when they see the website, they'll be able to see exactly what I mean. So overall, it's a much better website than we do right now. So it's ready. It's fully built. It's live right now. We're just waiting to share the URL once the rebrand happens, and the rebrand will happen, I think, within this month.
Great, that's awesome. This seems like a very, very exciting project. I mean, I know a lot of incubation launchpads have been created over the last year, but this one really stands out to me as a person who knows people who've been involved in KCC Pad, Tron Pad, BSC Pad, ETH Pad, so many of them. But this one, to me, is very exciting because of the interoperable notion and the APY that allows for vertical mobility. That is massive, because like you see these YouTubers that come out and say like, oh, there's going to be a next 100x cryptocurrency that's launching on KCC Pad, but what they don't tell you in the fine print is that you need to have a gold tier allocation, and the tokens that require that cost like 30 grand. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. So, but with this, however, there's a chance where someone who may not have that type of money over time will be able to have that type of money, and that's a big deal. So my last question to you, Siwon, is, are there any finishing thoughts to the community you'd like to share, and are there any exciting announcements you'd like to share with us?
Sure. I mean, the exciting announcement is definitely the rebrand, because it does solve a lot of the pain points, and I think it really shows that we listen to the community. There are people who may think that we're not listening, and because we are rarely answering people on the group chat, but we answer people in DMs, but not on the group chat, mainly because we have excellent community managers who can take most of the questions. But we actually look and study every single suggestion that came out. So I think the rebrand will really show that, and that kind of build the confidence in the community and show that we work for the community. I think that's quite. I mean, it's something that I'm looking forward to. I don't know if others are looking forward to it, but at least I am. And in terms of finishing thoughts, I mean, I'm also not gonna just ignore the fact that our token price is much lower than what it used to be. And I'm not afraid to admit that, yeah, I mean, our token price is not ideal. It's quite low, and a lot of people are disappointed, and I'm aware of that. But I just want people to be able to understand that, whether our token is at 1 cent or $1 or at $10 or at $100, our value offering is still the same. So at the end of the day, I want people to sort of recognize that we are working for them, and sometimes it does take some time. Sometimes there are challenges, but we are here working full time and working days and nights, trying to resolve those issues that are raised by the community. So yeah, that's something that I guess to look forward to, and something that I want our community to truly understand.
No, that's a great closing, and I really appreciate that. Like, people don't realize that like a lot of cryptocurrency projects, their monetary valuation is unfortunately based off of hype. And yes, hype has that effect on cryptocurrencies. But when a bear market comes, whenever that may be, most of those coins that are just based off hyped up BS, they collapse. It's the longevity and the utility of these coins, whatever they may be, that creates a paradigm of survival for
Yeah.
the business, for the community, for the entity that exists that's looking to create a new innovation in this industry, because this industry is very young, and what you guys are doing, creating a multi-chain interoperable launchpad, is a big deal to me. Personally, to me, that's a very big deal, as I believe the future is multi-chain. So I really can't thank you enough for your time. I really can't thank you enough for educating me on KSM Starter. And
No worries.
I definitely want to do a follow-up interview in the near future. I always stay in the communities that I interview, so I'm not going anywhere. And definitely stay in touch, man. I'd like to do another interview maybe in a few months.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, let's do another interview after the rebrand and
Yeah,
discuss all the features. And yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity that you have also given for me to answer some of the questions and hint at some upcoming IDOs and upcoming features. It's been really a lot of fun.
absolutely, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.